When I look at Joker and how he plays, and this is why he's the best big man in the league.
Shaq has said a lot of things about Nikola Jokic, but sometimes he says things that are insane.
2001 Shaq, 2025 Jokic, what happens?
Slavian chicken, wherever he's from.
Wait, what?
Slovenian chicken?
Slovenian chicken.
Then sometimes he gets jealous.
The modern day big Joker, those guys, Joel, Wimby. I'm jealous of them.
However, many times, Shaq gets it absolutely right about the Joker.
He's already one of the top players to ever play the game.
So let's look at 5 things Shaq was right about Nikola Jokic that are insane. Shaq knows dominance when he sees it, and as the president of the Big Man Alliance, he knows which center is dominating the league now. And obviously, he's right. In the 2024-25 season, Jokic averaged nearly 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists a game. And no, he did not pad stats to do that. He was able to do that because he's literally the engine that keeps the Denver Nuggets alive. But then, Jokic is more than just the best big man in the league. He's the best player in the NBA, period. And wait until you hear what Anthony Edwards said about that. For the last 4 or 5 years, the Joker has been redefining what dominance means. Back in Shaq's days, dominance meant breaking backboards and bullying defenders in the paint. But today, Jokic has done that with finesse. With deceptive passes,
Dunk by.
That is a dunk by. Vince?
Oh,
Dunk by. Dunk by.
Oh, that eyes. Goodness, look at his eyes right here. Look at that. Oh,
Right.
That's called
No-look
shifting.
pass there.
and high IQ plays that break teams down in real time. And that's why Ant-Man couldn't deny Jokic's dominance here.
Where do you rank yourself currently in the league right now? Do you feel like you're one of the best players?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely Jokic is first.
It's official. The Joker owns the NBA. And as much as Shaq knows this sometimes, he just can't stop himself from wanting to take the Joker's shine.
You know I love you, the best player in the league. I want to congratulate you, but I want you to hear from me first. I thought the SGA should have been the MVP. That's no disrespect to you.
That happened after Jokic won his 3rd MVP, and as disrespectful as that was, Shaq still recognizes Jokic's greatness. And you'll see that when you listen to what Shaq said next.
And he does that, you can tell by the assists. Best big man in the league by far, up there in the MVP conversation again.
Shaq doesn't hand out compliments to centers easily. He's spent years roasting anyone who even tried to compare themselves to him. Think Dwight Howard, Rudy Gobert, DeAndre Ayton, you name it. But Jokic is different. This is a man that has 3 MVPs, a Finals MVP, and a championship, all from the small market of Denver. And he did it all while averaging a near triple-double for multiple seasons. The only other centers with that kind of resume are Kareem and Wilt. Shaq didn't even have that level of versatility at the same point in his career. But you see, this level of versatility is something Shaq has admitted to being jealous of. And here's him explaining his jealousy.
The modern day big Joker, those guys, Joel, Wimby. I'm jealous of them. I'm jealous of them because I wish I was allowed to do that. I wish I could step out and shoot the 3, brother. You know why I call myself Black Steph Curry?
But who would have dared told Big Shaq to not shoot threes back in the day? Why do they usually like to act like there was a rule against shooting threes and then suddenly someone removed that rule? It's simple. Shaq never shot threes back in the day because he couldn't. No one would stop him if he could. However, as Shaq admitted, it's just jealousy. He knows Jokic is rewriting what it means to be a center. And now, in 2025, the center position doesn't look like it used to, and that's Jokic's historic status. He's the man who's redefining what it means to be a center in the NBA. And that's why what Shaq said next about Jokic's impact is even more insane.
Shaq, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. How do you compare Jokic to the other great bigs of all time? Will Kareem you?
I really hate that question because the game is different. However, he's more of a, he can play both. When he needs to go inside, he can go inside. When he needs to step outside, he can step outside. David Robinson was reminded me of that.
Although Shaq is right about who Jokic is and how he would be remembered, he still has a hard time accepting his impact and where to place him among the greats. Shaq, for instance, was built like a tank. Nikola Jokic was built like a dad who just dropped his kid off at kindergarten and stopped for coffee. Shaq's dominance came from physics. Nobody could match his mass, his lift, or his brute force in the paint. But Jokic, he's breaking basketball without ever leaving the floor. And this can be hard to comprehend for a man who earned his legendary status through sheer force and physical power. That's all he's ever known, so someone like the Joker must be hard to define. And honestly, it gets harder for Shaq to define Jokic's greatness when there's a woman around. Just look at his two different approaches to answering the same question.
2001 Shaq, 2025 Jokic, what happens?
Slavian chicken, wherever he's from.
Come on, Shaq. As a president of the Big Man Alliance, how doesn't he know Jokic is from Serbia?
Ask him what his stat line would be in his prime if he played Jokic in his prime when the buzzer was done. So what would your stats be after the game?
Similar to against everybody else.
Here, Shaq gives a more balanced response as opposed to what he did in the former clip.
I'm going to make his brothers want to fight me because the first play of the game, elbows.
You don't want that.
I don't
You don't
think
want them
you want
apples. You don't want his brothers coming at you.
I got brothers.
Come on, Twitter.
Shaq probably listened to Candace's advice because his tone changed next time answering that question.
Our playoffs probably be 40, 14 rebounds, 3 blocks. You know, he's a different player. I probably wouldn't have talked him either.
The difference between the completely disrespectful answer and the other one is Candace. So, at the end of the day, Shaq knows how great Jokic is. He just gets carried away sometimes.
He probably averaged 27-30 because he's a great shooter, and I would have to be off.
For Shaq to admit that a player that moves like Medea would average 27 to 30 points against him shows that Shaq respects both Jokic's mastery and dominance. Also, Shaq has often admitted to the Joker having a better IQ than even his own prime, and he's obviously right. Because Jokic isn't dominating with muscle, he's dominating with mind. But let's not forget what Shaq said there, calling him a great shooter, because that's something that bigs aren't generally known for. And wait until you see what Kevin Durant said about Jokic's shooting. However, Shaq has admitted to wishing he could shoot like modern bigs. He even went as far as calling himself the Black Steph Curry. But then, we all know, not only was Shaq a bad shooter, he was also a bad free throw shooter. So, having someone maintain the dominance of centers in the league while being able to shoot speaks volumes. Here's Kevin Durant increasing the volume.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. Yeah, I felt like all of those shots felt like they was easy shots, you know. And he just played a game at a pace that you can't speed him up, you know. Fluster him, he's strong, he can make every shot. I mean, I hate when he makes shots because he's so unorthodox, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a miss, and then it goes straight in. You know, he's incredible.
Behind all the jokes, the ego, and those classic TNT moments, Shaq was right to recognize Nikola Jokic as one of the best players in the history of the NBA. And while Shaq also called the Joker the best center in the league, Jokic is more than that. He's the blueprint for what a modern center looks like. He's the evolution of the position itself. While Shaq broke backboards, Jokic breaks logic. And while one dominated through fear, the other dominates through feel. So, we've heard Shaq's great points about Nikola Jokic, But which one was your favorite? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. But there's one thing Shaq didn't mention about Nikola Jokic's historic career. Watch, Nikola Jokic will be the only one with this historical record next.